Can y'all hear me? Whoever's here? Hello, anybody there? Oh, hey, Lee. Huh. Man, it's probably just this sorry laptop, man. Hey, Linda. I wanted to just talk about, I'll give a little bit more time for people to get in here, maybe, if they'll show up. I'm sure people are working and whatnot. We have kind of an ice day here. Still working, but connectivity is a bit slow, so I'm just going to try something and hopefully it works. But I wanted to talk about, the seriousness of what's going on. And, I'm typically not one of these purveyors of panic or anything like that. But I think that we really need to be careful with this, with the financial situation currently and in the future, the very near future. And I wanted to post a link here. From Glenn Beck. And I encourage everybody to go watch it. And if you know anybody that's in our realm, encourage them to go watch it as well. It's not a lot different than what we talk about most days and nights, but I will tell you that, he is a, pretty stout financial person. And it really, sort of made me do a double take and, think about it a little bit harder. And a lot of things he talked about in this video or deep dives into what we, like I said, typically talk about in our prepper world. But man, I think with the convoys and people waking up and the fact that there's pushback and people are starting to rise up and become more independent, I think you're going to see some pushback by the powers that be in the form of, digital currency and the like. I don't know what you all feel about that, but I really think that there's going to be a reckoning, and this thing can't stand up. I mean, everybody's talking about the debt we've incurred within the last 60 days. Hey, ETP, good to see you. But basically, what he's saying is if you don't have any money put away, what money you do have, you need to go buy canned food, canned goods with, and freedom seeds. Tangible things that hold value through thick and thin, right? But I encourage people to go watch this video. I just linked it in the chat there. And I would really encourage everybody to go take a look at that and reevaluate their whole situation. And regarding financials, everybody's in a different position. It seems like there's quite a few people that are very very tight budgets. Hey ETP, good to see you. Varying budgets out there. I know, man. I know, Lee. It's not looking good, man. Um, and that's another thing that there's a lot of ambiguity. Good job, ETP. There's a lot of ambiguity out there about. Hey, Christina. Yeah, we're doing okay down here. I think we're good for the most part. I mean, my county's got like 8,000 power outages, but it's not too bad. I don't think the ice accumulation was as much as they thought it was going to be. But the age-old question that a lot of people ask is, how much of the paper stuff you should keep around. And I'm starting to reevaluate that myself. I know that there's a lot of different opinions on this subject, and the new Build Back Better, if you want to go there, apparently has some language in it that really gives the banking system quite a bit of authority beyond what they already had against their members or their account holders. And I'm just thinking that people need to really think about their situation when it comes to available paper stuff. Hey Okie J, oh yeah, it was warm, we're staying warm, no power outage yet. Yeah, exactly, Lee. Hey, Lewis. Exactly my point. Um, it's I'm no financial expert. I'm no financial advisor, that's for sure. But I typically go with bird in hand, beats two in the bush. And I just think that we really need to be careful about what we leave. Hey, Danny, good to see you. Welcome. I think we really need to reconsider what we, keep within the system. What do y'all feel about? How do y'all feel about that? Hey, thanks, Lewis. This old thing. I always do like this. What? Yeah, it's just a standard, little tactical slinger there. But yeah, what do you guys and gals think about that? I mean, I've talked to certain people, around that say take it all out. I've heard some people say, people that I'm, related to will say, I keep 10 grand on me all the time, at home. So I don't know. I mean, I think it runs the gamut, with regards to opinions. Okay. I hear you, ETP. But I mean, I here's my thing is if I was tight on a budget and I didn't have a lot, I sure as hell probably wouldn't keep it in a bank right now. I mean, that's sort of my opinion. And but I encourage people to go up there and watch that video. I agree off the wall. I'm sort of catching on to this. I know I've been listening to you talk about it as well, but I wanted to. I'll keep posting this link here, just so people can go watch it if they haven't. Um, yeah, I've heard that too, Christina. I'm telling you, I just after watching his video, yeah, no kidding there. Off the wall, good. That's a good point too. Shit, if I was older, I'd take it all. Good for you. Good for you, Lee. That's what I call making moves, son. Just kidding. Chief. Silver's a good call. Yeah, I've got some. Most of it's just inherited stuff. I haven't really went out and purchased any. That's a shortcoming that I have. I'm not very balanced in the precious metals area for sure. Yeah, hell, I'm worried about Social Security at this point. Like a lot of people. A lot of people are worried about Social Security. It's always been a cash cow for the feds anyway. Damn right. Lots of lead. I've got a lead harvest going really well. The barn's full. The silos are full. Which brings me to another point about the Alpha Tango Foxtrot. They're making moves, boldly making moves. And there you go. Hey, hunting and stuff. Exactly, off the wall. They've been using that as a cash cow the whole damn time. But people also need to get super creative with how they, like I said before, um, you know, how they transport and store those items. There you go, tactical. I like that. I saw a bunch of the green coated stuff recently, pretty reasonable. I mean, it was a little under $1 a round. But yeah, it's a real deal. But you know, again, I would encourage everybody to go watch that Glenn Beck video. I mean, this dude's a pretty well-off financial advisor. I mean, he claims that he's not one or this and that, but I mean, he went a little. Uh, we're a little bit spread out off the wall. I wouldn't say it's anything super organized. It's more a little kind of loose. Um, but with a combination of FAM and a MAG, I think I'm in decent shape. I wouldn't say it would suit anything super, like I said, well organized or written, but that's pretty good tactical. Steel, I guess. Is that right, tactical? But anyway, people need to take it serious, man. Again, it's you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I would say that those of you that don't have any type of hardened storage to maybe do that. Hey B, good to see you. But I would also, getting the big hardcore, steel storage devices are great. The only problem is if they're too large, you have to have a damn forklift to move them around, which kind of makes, leaving at some point or moving at some point difficult. Gotcha, tactical, gotcha. Um, but I definitely think that, people need to be able to make moves in that area, from a paper, uh, precious stuff, and anything of value along those lines. And you know, it's the $1 million question. It's almost like the bug out question. When do you know to pull the trigger, right? And if you do, there's consequences potentially, right? You got that right, hunting and stuff. Okay, yeah, that's cool, tactical. You can do that. But I was just curious. Like I said, I watched this video from Beck, and I'll put it again just because I think it's really important that people see it seriously. And watch the whole damn thing. And this guy now Glenn Beck, he used to be on Fox, and had kind of a meltdown or whatever, and he moved to my area actually, and set up his little internet studio. Well, it's not little, I don't think, but he's been very successful at that, down here. And he moved down here years ago. He foresaw a lot of this stuff going on way before anybody else. Um, but you know, I don't buy everything the guy says, or I'm not a regular watcher of his. I do watch him from time to time. It's not religiously or anything, but he makes a lot of sense, and I think it's good that we get information from various sources, from time to time, and make sure that we're doing all of our due diligence, as members of society, and the ones that are probably going to have to end up riding the ship here, at some point. But I went to just side note, I went to Wally World yesterday just for kicks, because I just wanted to see, the I wanted to see the temperature of the people, that waited to the last minute to go get their stuff. And it was not pandemonium, but it was close. First, there was no carts inside. You had to get them from the corrals out in the parking lot. This is right as the front was blowing in. And they had both ends of the self checkout going, on each end here, and then a couple of aisles or checkout lines in the middle that were, manned by people, workers, and it was an absolute crap show. And not only that, but people were, flooding through the parking areas, um, flooding through the. Well, I really wanted to, like I said, I just did it for kicks. I just like to go see the people, the zombies, if you will. And it's a good place to do it just because of the population. Anyway, there were people flying the wrong direction down the parking lanes. It was people were doing illegal U-turns. This is all in the span of about 20 minutes. I mean, I saw like illegal U-turns at lights, and it was just bizarre, really bizarre. But I just wanted to kind of report on that. Not that I'm surprised, really. People are generally poor drivers anyway. Um, but um, this whole situation, and this the war drums, and our participation unnecessarily to this point in a you know stoking of the flames, or the throwing fuel on the fire in at the Ukraine situation really bothers me. And to me, it stinks a lot more every day. I don't know how you guys and gals feel about it, but it's really starting to stink more to me. And what a great way to get us off our game and start shipping troops all over the place. And then in that part of the world, and then we catch something from the other side of the world, which is even even worse than the other. So, hey, Shift, good to see you. But I would, if I were going to remove the paper stuff, I would do it, sparingly, but I would maybe do it regularly to avoid any, wacky, trails or anything like that, unnecessary, alarm bells. But I really got a bad feeling again after having watched his video today. And again, there's a lot of people that have differing opinions of him, but I do respect his financial knowledge, and I think he's a pretty sharp guy. But yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I'm going to say on hand I have less than 10K, but more than two. You know, and that's on hand. But you think people need to start getting creative. Where they where and what they store, and I would say be maybe a hidden in plain sight person. That might be a better tactic than all the obvious steel boxes and such. A lot of people are big fans of the caches and all that, the sonotubes and such. Um, but I think it's a real something. It's really something to think about. I like I said, I have family that have at least 10 on hand all the time. At home. And I'm like, man, that's a lot to me. But I get it too. But I don't think that that person really does it for SHTF. I think they just like to have it around because they might want to buy something. But I know there's people out there that have a lot more than that stored, you know, a lot more. And my thing is, hey, Vermont Prepper, good to see you. My other thing is that you need to have it, you need to be able to grab it. Hey, Lady Hammer, good to see you. But I don't know. I'd be interested to hear you guys and gals' opinion on the subject. I'm always interested in getting the temperature of other people, and seeing what they say. Um, get a good spatter, of data that makes sense or doesn't make sense. But I guess it just depends on your situation, where you live, what your security situation's like, etc. The only thing I hate about the banks is they're federally controlled, right? So I'm thinking that, you know, I don't know if there's other options with regard to, that, those entities. Um, I guess the feds have jurisdiction over all the banks, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Beach Flower, you guys and gals tell me, I'm not a financial whiz or anything like that. I've sort of just put blind faith in the bank system for a long time. And, and so far it hasn't done me wrong. But again, I'm not putting anything past them. Anything anything seems possible nowadays. Rewriting the rules, and further constriction of the economy and supply chain and rules and etc. So I'm just curious, are there any other hardened, alternatives to the traditional banking system, but other than not having it, within your home or your location? I mean, I would obviously know you can keep it in a safe at home or a mason jar buried in the yard, but um, I'm just curious if there's any other options with regards to banking institutions, or are they all going to have some sort of federal tether aligned to them where they can just do what they want as soon as they make the law? But yeah, exactly. You can. That's another one too. Oh God, it's got to be horrible, Vermont. It is, Beach. You got that right. Yeah, but still, there's a federal tether there, right, Okie? All right. Way to go, Tactical. Yeah, Tactical, just text me or email me about that subject. We'll get together on it for sure. Um, yeah, so credit unions are those, but those are those, what's the federal tether um, with that, Okie? Hmm. Yeah, I'd really like to talk to you about that off the wall, offline at some point, just due to security reasons and such. But um, if you got my number, I'd like you to text me or something, or email me your number. I'd like to really discuss that, what your thoughts are privately, um, at some point. But you know, it's a damn shame that people have this little faith in their government. And that's where we're at. I think we all can agree that whatever your political persuasion is, the writing is on the wall and it's been in your face. It's been in your face, and things keep happening, and poor decisions and poor judgment keeps occurring. And we just sort of keep, a lot of us, not necessarily speaking about people on this live, or this, these lives or these videos that we watch as a community are like that, but there's a lot of people that are kicking the can down the road, and they will never believe it until it completely pulls the rug right out from under them. Yeah, that makes sense, Lady Hammer. But they might not be telling the tellers or whatever. I don't know what she does there, but these are probably decisions that will come lightning fast overnight. And it's probably just the punch of a button. Yeah, it sucks, Vermont, that you're so close to getting that. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting, Lady Hammer. You're right off the wall. That's for sure. This is a conglomerate, a syndicate, international syndicate of the puppet masters. Let me get this full. Hey, God soldiers, how you doing, brother? Thanks for coming by. Just talking about the situation with the paper stuff in the banks and many other things. But yeah, thanks Shift for dropping some links. That'd be great. And please hit the like button if you would, people. Trying to. I've been pretty stagnant for a couple of weeks. It seems like I don't understand. I guess my content's just that not that interesting. But I sure have tried. Um, yeah, total power play there, Lee. I agree. Total power play. And it's been said before. I can't remember who said it, but you know, when you can take over a nation without firing a shot and watch it implode internally, why would you? Why would you get involved? Why would you get in the way of that? Like I've said before, the amount of amateurs involved in this thing. All right, off the wall. See ya. Good luck with that. The amount of amateurism we got running this thing is really, really bad. We need 45 back. Hey, Kentucky, good to see you. All right, way to go. Welcome to the club, Kentucky. Which one, if you don't mind me asking? 19? Glock 19 seems to be the most popular one. I've got a 26 and a 17. Good choice. Good choice. I was a SIG guy back in the day. That's what we carried in Army CID was the SIG 228. Um, but it was a good firearm too, for sure. I probably didn't get into Glocks till probably about 8 years ago, but I've been pleasantly surprised since. But I do like SIGs as well. But I did a short. Yeah, that's what I figured. Oh wow, that's a hell of a deal. Hell of a deal, Kentucky. Hell of a deal. Now I will tell you this: you can go to Academy and Magpool makes Glock magazines that fit Glocks. If you didn't know that, so a Glock mag usually runs 30-35 bucks, and you can get these little Magpools for I think they're $15 to $20 at Academy. Sure, go ahead, Tennessee. Hey, Valerie. But yeah, Kentucky, you can go to Academy and grab extra mags for that thing, and they work just fine. And you'll save about half. You'll get them about half price. Again, they're Magpul mags. You just have to research which number they are, and you can just usually go get them right off the shelf. That's a good deal too. Well, that's a really good deal. Good for you though, joining the Glock Club. Oh, is that right, Cold War? I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah, SIGs are good, Okie J. I'm not gonna bash them. That's for sure. I mean, I'm really kind of down the middle. I like the simplicity of Glocks, the lightweight of them, and no safety. I just like all that about it. You know. All right, Sean. That's a nice. Oh man, that's a pretty good call there, bud. 30s, 30 rounders, Sean, or the short ones? That's back when they were. That's when Academy before the pandemic hit, the shortage hit. They were running those for $9 at Academy on some days. Yeah, Lady Hammer. I don't know. I mean, if you would have told me that 10 years ago, I would have said I probably agree with it, but I don't know now. Yeah, yeah. I hear you, Kentucky. Oh, nice, Sean. I'd buy them suckers up, man. I got a bunch of them. There you go, Tennessee Patriot. That's fine. Hey, this is what it's going to take, people. That's what it's going to take. Again, look for the government to counter at some level. It sounds like in Canada they're already trying to. Hmm. Well, that's pretty cool, Sean. I'm glad to hear that. That's good. I'd buy as many as you can afford. I personally am well off in that area, but if I were you or anybody else interested and finds them for $10 a pop, I'd be buying the hell out of them. I bought some back in the summer 2 years ago that were I was getting them for $7.25, I think, online, and I was buying uh, a bunch. Yeah, I just need to know when they're going to do it. Lee, I'd be down with that. What are the dates of this thing, Tennessee? Can you give the dates or anything that you're willing to share? I'll say something else on the lead stuff. Yeah, lead stuff. for these things, just the regular 7 to 8 shot is good too. Don't just be stuck on buckshot and slugs. Birdshot's fine. Trust me. They ain't gonna want no more than one. So Tennessee, give some more information on expected dates of this thing. Do you have that yet? Yeah, last week when I was in Academy, they had a bunch too. Hey, Zombie, good to see you. Hey, Nunya. I'll give you my opinion on seeds and seed dispensers right now, and that just goes for everybody. If you know how much you got, you ain't got enough. That's my motto. I'm going to list this link to Glenn Beck's video again. I'm kind of going to do it as we go along here just because I want people to really save that link and watch it later. I really encourage people to watch this link, watch this video. I'm telling you, man, I quit. I mean, if you know how much you got, you ain't got enough. No, there's an email right there from a supplier. If those of you have never been to, okay, February 15th, 16th, and 17th. Oh man, that might be tough for me. I'm going to be the opposite direction. So I don't know if any of you have ever ordered for them from this place. I'm going to post it here. They're out of Brenham, Texas, which is where they make Bluebell ice cream. So you might want to consider checking them out. For those of you in Texas, it's 2 to 3 days shipping get to you, and it's pretty accurate. Pretty, they're not the cheapest on earth, but you'll get it quick. And another one that I use is out of Vegas. Yeah, is that the one in Vegas you're talking about, Nanya? Just for those of you that are wondering. Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you, Lee. But again, that's another reason why I say that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Nanya. All right, somebody get this fool, Hussein. Hussein. I'll get him sniped. The hell? It's weird. But anyway, hey Bonnie, it's good to see you. Sorry if I missed anybody that slipped in. All right, Tennessee, that's cool. So that's good. We gotta get together as a group. That's for sure. Anyway, I've had success with those two online places. I know a lot of people feel different about it. It is what it is. But like I said, that's why you got to get sort of creative about what and where you store stuff. Believe me, they start tracking all this stuff, they're going to have their hands really full. Um, but I gave I gave my 2 cents on a subject not too long ago, just with regard to the volatility in the world and our world, especially in the U.S. About the consideration in, of course, no problem, Tennessee, that being in consideration of carrying a long gun in your vehicle, something like that. Um, and I would really encourage people to, think about that if they can do it safely and stealthily out of plain view. And you can. You just got to be creative, like I said, and be smart about what and where you do it and how. Yeah. Okay, Nunya, I hear you. Um, and I said this before. I said this last night on I think it was Off the Walls Live. I mentioned that I'm really thinking that we're going to probably end up at some point with what I call freedom zones. Which is a contiguous group of states that values the Constitution and freedom and the Bill of Rights. And we're probably going to be, hopefully you're in one of those freedom zones without the fat cats bearing down on us, on you. But what scary is we're going to end up like Mexico. I think we're already on our way. You're going to have the hierarchy. The Politburo is going to live very well. Fresh eggs, fresh produce, fresh beef and pork and chicken, fresh fish, tobacco products, liquor. And the yeah, well, Texas will probably be a complete freedom zone. I'm hoping, unless somehow they can weasel Beto into this thing. My God, I don't know where I'm going to go. May have to go to Idaho. I don't know. But I foresee. Okay, thanks, Shift. I was, I just foresee that some type of, freedom zone or freedom area could easily be implemented, with like-minded states. I don't know that the way we're going. I agree with you on that, Lee, for sure. And we've all been talking about it. If you live in an inner city or extreme urban area, you really need to reevaluate your whole scene. And I've also talked about the fact that, people need to be get out of the habit of chasing the dollar so hard. I agree with needing the money to pay your bills and buy things, and that's how we trade and etc. But I think once you begin to stop chasing the dollar so hard, you'll see your life and priorities change. I mean, I did for me. And I'm not saying you don't go work. I'm just saying that your priority shifts from chasing the dollar to one, getting things done, preparing, and being happy. And I'm not telling you to be poor and eat out of trash cans, but I'm just saying that it's a real thing. And it's hard, and it's hard if you've worked your whole life and you've been in the system your whole life. That that's how we're set up to have to go do things. But once you can break that curse of chasing the dollar, you'll be a lot more happy. I'm telling you. Again, I'm not telling you to be indigent and wear rags and to eat out of trash cans and walk everywhere you go. But paying off debts, uh, you know, being a little bit more benevolent here and there, you'd be surprised what you get back. Or the Lord works in mysterious ways. I'm glad you don't either, CJ. But if you think about it, going back to where, how people lived back in the day, they didn't have a lot, but they were happy. They might have been poor, but they were happy. I mean, it sucks to have to, be gone to work all day and you get to see your, family or significant other, less than a couple hours a day. I mean, you're spending your time with people that you work with or work for. And I think that's, with the way things are today, that's the opposite of what we should be doing. Hmm. Things and skills. Hey, Mary, good to see you. Now I'm thinking about taking a different, local position at a pretty heavy duty, um, you know, pew pew range and supplier 10 minutes from my house. Less money, but boy, sure would be fun. And I'd be working with like minded people that, you know, enjoy the same thing. Hey, Dustin. It's a lot less money than what I'm currently making. But again, I've, been able to pay off a lot of things where really all I have is a vehicle payment. And I'm just not going to be chasing the dollar anymore. I'm just not going to do it. It's, to me, it's a counterfeit way of being happy, and it borders on, a lot of people border on the greed line, and greed is going to bring you down at some point. But some of you that are just now joining, that's good, CJ. Some of you that just now are joining, we talked about um, the fact that how much is a good amount to keep on hand with the paper stuff, the green paper stuff, and exactly right, Kentucky. What's the And the reason I say that is I watched a video by Glenn Beck, which I posted the link to here in the chat. If you go scroll up, you'll see it. Um, and I really recommend that people go watch this video. I mean, maybe some of you already have. I don't know, but I'll do it again for you. I would pass it along to anybody that you think could benefit from it. But it's a really good video, and I even know about a lot of this stuff, and it woke me up even more, today. Because everybody's got a different opinion on, what's going to happen, what could happen, what this is going to do, what that's going to do, what the banks are going to do. Get it. Some people say get it all out. I don't know. And I keep hearing about a bail in instead of a bailout, a bail in, for these banks and financial institutions. Man, I've got a problem with that. It's interesting. They probe and they test and they do all this penetration testing to see how far they can go and what they can get away with, and see the reactions of the people. Well, now people are starting to stand up with regard to, the pinch. And we'll see how they react and what knobs they turn and what switches they hit to take it further from the government side. We'll see. But I think eventually, once people get out of chasing the dollar, their priorities change completely. And it's kind of systemic, honestly. I'm not rich. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is you can position yourself to be more independent and have more choices and control over your own life. And it's not easy to break the chains with regards to that, but once you start doing it, it's crazy. Start small, knock things out a little bit at a time. Of course, then you've got the other complete side of that coin where you got people like Johnny Bravo saying, max out your credit cards, it ain't gonna matter. And there's a lot of people that have already done that. A lot of people did that to get through the pandemic. Great, Lee. Great. More great news. That's right, Mary. That's kind of what I've been talking about here. I'm kind of just now, I've been listening to people talk about this for months now. And I didn't really want to go down that rabbit hole, but there's another one shift. So it's just like too many people are talking about it for it not to be a legit scenario, in my opinion. But I don't know. What do you all think? Some people weighed in earlier with regards to this. You know, what to keep on hand, what to well, you're already paid digitally, right, Dustin? Wire transfer. Did you actually get a paper check? There's not many people that still get those. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's some of those out there. Man, God bless them. You just gotta. I just hope you can get through the 2 years and not have to get ripped off. Yeah, I think Lee is right on the money with that. And I agree completely. The Cold War. I hear you, Bonnie's. Oh yeah, naysayers, Vermont. We got a lot of those. It'll never happen. Yet things keep happening. What are you gonna do? I mean, what's to say that you know it's way worse than you think? Could be. And I wanted to bring up another subject, and I haven't really got any solid feedback on it yet. Maybe I've missed it in the press. What the hell is this wall going around the White House? What is that? Is that legit? Is that just a is that some kind of construction project? You know, or something else? I was wondering if anybody had a legitimate legitimate information on that wall going up around the White House. Looks like a concrete wall. Ty, I'm gonna go grab some coffee. I'll be right back. Please keep the chat going. right, sorry about that, y'all. So does anybody have any info on that wall going up around the White House? But I was going to talk to so those of you that are on a budget and don't really have a solid steel, pew pew safe or vault or anything like that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Vermont. What's that all about? There's a method, there's these steel job boxes you can get from different different home improvement stores. Home Depot, Lowe's. They're these huge steel job boxes you see in back of pickup trucks. Sometimes people work, contractors and such going to do jobs. They keep their power tools and stuff in there because they're heavy duty and solid. And the lock mechanisms are recessed into the box so they can't be cut. But those are also good alternative storage places for a lot of your valuable stuff. And you can, bolt them down. You can, bolt them in a bed of a truck. You can bolt them to the slab. There's a lot. You can bolt them to studs in the wall. There's a lot of different things you can do with those units. And you can also get them on sale quite a bit. Digging up the fountain. Huh. Okay. Well, and we're always going to have the sheep out there that, yeah, you just got to be careful with those bonnies, from a corrosion standpoint and the water table and all that, frost line. But yeah, I would definitely consider getting a steel job box for the pew pew stuff, and you can also use it as a valuables locker. Should you need to, and save some money versus getting, a huge, digital type safe or something like that. There's alternative things that you can do and accomplish the same goals. Is my point. But it's important, I think, that we understand alternative measures. I mean, they make these there's these canisters that you can get, Mary, that are PVC plastic where they won't corrode. That might be a better option, for certain things like that if you're going to bury it. But metal, will eventually corrode, and you can't use like a little, saltine cracker tin because it'll just collapse. I mean, you got to have something heavy duty, which I'm sure but I would think there's some things called sonotubes that are plastic, PVC style material. And I think, you just have to be really sure to waterproof it. If you're going to dig a hole and bury something, you want to make sure that you've got a pretty good, the bottom of the cavity has sort of a cant to it. So, if there is any, and they need to align it with gravel or something where, it won't give way. And then that way you have a stable surface to put whatever it is you're putting on the in the earth, play resting place. And then also, with gravel or rock, it'll allow the water to sort of go around it and flow off. There you go, B. Uh, I mean, if I were going to do something like that, I probably would, oh, there you go. All right, Sean, get it. You can look, there's some videos out there where people would do like old meat, root cellars for like meats and things like that, with a false, lid, like maybe a 2x2, 2x2x4, something like that. Okay, a little cube style hole in the ground, um, and maybe line it with something like plywood or something like that. I mean, I would. Hey, Lucky, good to see you. I would maybe approach it more like that than just going out with a shovel and digging a hole, like you're burying a cat or something. I would maybe do it, somewhat professionally and line it with some treated plywood or something like that, and maybe build yourself a little in-ground box. I don't know if that's what you were thinking, anyway, but that's how. If I was going to bury something, I would do it along those lines. I would make sure it was I would make sure that it was a formidable cavern to store what I wanted safely and not rot. Christina, I would stay away from the metal trash cans. I would maybe consider a steel drum with a lockable lid. Um, I don't know what you're trying to bury, but moisture, it's not always in the form of a liquid. I mean, it could be a gas. Humidity and condensation and stuff can ruin things just as easy as actual water touching it. You might, line the bottom of it with sand and gravel. Exactly, Kentucky. I agree with you 100%. It's a really good place to store seeds too. And I will go to a Dollar Tree and I get those dry canisters, and I'll usually buy 10 at a time, and I've always got them on hand, and I keep those in there as well to absorb any moisture that comes their way. No kidding, B. But yeah, I would really do my research with regards to burying something long term like that, just to make sure you're not, you know, you just need to research it and make sure you're accomplishing the thing that you want to accomplish with regards to that. Sorry, I got something printing here. Um, yeah, sandbags are a great thing, and I wish I had some. But yeah, I would, I wish I had some of the sandbags that I had my hands on back in the day. Those are handy as hell, and we could really use them too. Yeah, that's a good idea, Shift. I like that. Yeah, you got to know your water table and your frost line and all that stuff. You just kind of have to know all these things. And if you research it and talk to somebody, but I kind of like the, just a low altitude uh, point of view, I would say that I would probably you know, go with the root cellar type thing and maybe do it in plain sight, you know. Where I'm at, most of the slabs are post tension, so it's really tough to go through a slab unless you were to pour maybe a secondary slab like on a back patio or something, or maybe an adjacent shop or a detached garage or something. But I've always thought that hiding, being able to have a vault underneath concrete was really cool, so something to think about there too. But I've always been a big fan of hiding stuff in plain sight and, you know, more of a stealthy, method versus, oh, by this tree on the back 40, with, um, just one of those things. Yep, exactly, B. I hear you, Mary. I think a lot of us feel that way. Here you go, little boots. Yeah, exactly. But it's funny, all these high rollers, these doctors, and all these VIPs out there that they're always just used to throwing money at stuff, and always being able to just buy their way out of anything, and I don't think you're going to be able to do that with what's coming. Yeah, there you go, Bonnie's. That's a good move too. That is a great idea, little boots. I like that. Exactly. Accomplishing you multitasking. Yeah, I think if you research, how to make a good root cellar or something like that, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. Hidden in plain sight. Yep. Well, you see all these people that have these, you know, false walls and all this stuff, these bookcases, that's really cool stuff, man. And there's all kinds of cool stuff that you can do if you just sit down and think about it. Look around your home and your property and just look and just say, what could that be used for? I mean, you could take an old abandoned, huge propane tank and do something, you know. They could use an old grain silo. There's all kinds of stuff, that you could do. People just got to get creative. Be creative and be smart. I was in out at our near our ranch location a few weeks ago. Little boots, that's good. Um, but it's a place is out, sort of West Texas ish, and this is kind of a country hardware store. You bet, Christina. Um, they were selling just regular 50 cal new ammo cans, just a plain ammo can for $40. I was like, I had to take a double take, and I'm like, is there bullets in it or magazines or something? Nope, $40 for one ammo can, empty, empty. That was crazy, and I'm glad I'm stocked up on those too. Um, Another thing I would encourage people to do if they don't already, with regarding their with regarding their seeds is to, and I'm talking about the lead seeds. Um, Consider storing them loose in bulk in your ammo cans. Um, Keep the desiccants in there, keep them dry. But every once in a while, you've got to go out and you've got to open those up, and you've got to recondition that seal around the lid. But if you recondition that rubber seal around that lid, they'll last a lot longer for you. You can use any type of petroleum jelly usually, or you can use like snow seal, a boot, uh, the leather boot sealant, as long as it's more of a pomade or a wax type of um, product, so it can seep into the rubber seals. You want to make sure those rubber seals are conditioned and don't have a bunch of cracks. Yep, I do some of that too, Kentucky. I've never put food in a vacuum sealer. Sorry, I'm just checking my emails here. Oh, Off the Wall just posted something about police are moving in to arrest truckers. This could get ugly in a hurry. Hmm, interesting. Yep, this is going to be a barometer on what this thing goes like, I think. But please, people, if you're capable, always travel, strapped, if you will. And you know, if all you've got's one, that's great. But if you can go with two, nice little boots. Yeah, it's a mess, man. Like I said, people talk about secession and all that has to be approved by the U.S. government and all this stuff. You know what? Just like laws in SHTF, none of that means a damn thing. So when SHTF is truly in effect, we're close. You'll know it. And like I said, many of us have said, don't look for any help. Hey, Buzz, good to see you. I think you might have a splintering of forces as well, Bonnie's. I think there's still enough personnel in now that would probably, I hate to say the word desert, but I think there would be a significant amount that would leave their post to abide by the Constitution and disobey unlawful orders. But there is a bunch of woke in there now, brass included, that have engineered and tailored this thing to fit their narratives. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. Um, Sounds like they're going to have their hands full pretty soon. And that's why I think it's important that a lot of these mags have at least a couple of vets in with them because they know how to talk. You know, they know how to talk this language, and it's going to be important to have skin in the game if it really goes to sling and lead. It's going to help to have somebody that has skin in the game and can, like I said, speak the language to you know bring people around. But I thought about the same thing, little boots. Um, yeah, I thought the same thing. Our philosophy's pretty much always been be able to fight two wars simultaneously on two different fronts. Well, sounds like we might get our chance. I know, but the clock is ticking, and we've got to be able to make calculated decisions, calculated decisions for that very reason. That's right, Kentucky. I would hate to have to be in that position, but if I'm in it, I'm in it. And then my training kicks in. I'm no expert marksman and this and that, but and I'm sure tactics have changed quite a bit, but I still remember a lot. And I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals do too. I still think, piggybacking on what Cold War just said, I'm still of the opinion that we have a major cyber attack come due our way. Exactly, Kentucky. It's not going to be like on the range, people. Nice climate controlled range with paper targets and smoking and joking and all that. Air conditioner going, air protection in. Not going to be like that. Like I said, when this HTF really hits, there ain't going to be any law. Like I said, like many have said, not just me, if you can cripple U.S. without firing a shot, why wouldn't you take the chance if that was your intent? Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Something to think about, right? There you go, Bonnie's. But I would, you know, I know that a lot of this conflict talk is a lot of that is wagging the dog, and a lot of that is being pushed in intentionally. but I would still go out. I would still go out and get the lead seeds, and while you can. You're right. You're right, Lee. Exactly. Unfortunately, that's true, Bonnie's. That's why, if you've got a mag, or if you've been, intending to start a mag and just kind of been talking about it, you need to, make good on some of that planning personally. Yeah, little boots, they would really have to be coordinated and stealthy about it. But again, if you can control the money, control the meds, control the food, control the juice, control the water, these are all plausible tactics that I would not put past them. But then again, I think that you're still going to have freedom states that give them the King's X and say, nope, not going to happen. We're our own independent nation now, do something about it, which probably would, probably get attacked, but it's definitely plausible thinking. So I'm going to get them, Pietro. Yeah, beef is great. And, like I said, people that don't know how to, number one, find game. Number two, take down game. Number three, process game. Number four, preserve game. It's going to be really, really tough for the average person that's never done that consistently to be proficient at it. But you can go get some training, and you can research, and you can print off some documents or buy a book that talks about all this stuff. There's tons of them out there. So I would consider, going along those lines. But anyway, yeah, the depression, man, those people were unbelievable. Squared away, tough. That's right, Leroy. Exactly, Kentucky. I got me a little cage trap, one of those little 2-footers I can trap small game with, nice and quiet. But yeah, finding game, killing game, processing game, preserving game, cooking game. You know, huge. But yeah, those depression era folks, man. You talk about a hard ass life. Damn. That's right. I got a neighborhood full of cottontails around here. Yep. Yeah, CJ, there's all kinds of books here. Stand by. Let me pull a couple. I'll show you a couple that I have, and I'm sure other people can weigh in on theirs. Stand by. So I got three here that I just have, that I have had. They're paperback, excuse me. But this is the first one. Hunting and Gathering Survival Manual by Tim McWelch. You see on the back, it's got different stuff, different things, how to put it in a pot, pressure canning, blah, blah, blah. Talks about snares. Sorry. Not very good at this show and tell stuff. Kinds of stuff. Talks about berries and whatnot, foraging. But again, it's Hunting and Gathering Survival Manual. Here we go. Can't see very well. That was by Outdoor Life. And this is another one that I like. It's called Survival Hacks. It's written by what's his name? It's the Creek Stewart, the SOS guy on the Weather Channel. He does those SOS shows. How to get out of how to survive being stranded and such. He does a lot of that. But Creek Stewart's his name. Sort of a survival expert dude. And I got this one for Christmas, and I don't know much about canning. Don't know. I'm certainly not an expert at it, but this one, Prepper's Canning Guide. Sorry. There's a lot of people on here that are experts at this stuff, but certainly not me. I'm a novice. Well, that's one thing that we have to be able to do, right? We have to be able to know our limitations, where we're short, and be honest with ourselves. Here's the first one that I talked about, Hunting and Gathering Survival Manual by Tim McWelch, and it's Outdoor Life. I guess put it out, produced it, or copyrighted it, whatever, produced it. Well, these are cool just to read through. It's about how to build a fire, different edibles, different wild game. What's got the most protein? Oh, there's a little cage trap. Got him a little raccoon. Pretty cool. But yeah, totally. Yeah, Little Boots has got the canning. I'm down pat, I'm sure. Yeah, food powders. I got some canned peanut butter. I bought a couple cans from August Farms, and they had it at Walmart last time I went, and Costco. Exactly. It's all about learning and getting better. And it doesn't matter what your expertise is in. You can always learn something from somebody else. Anyway, those are a few books, 2 or 3 books that I have handy that are pretty awesome. But the survival hacks one is pretty cool too. You just have to have some basic tools with you to be able to accomplish the things. You can fancy your own tools in the field, at some level sometimes, but if you're prepping properly, you shouldn't need to do all that. I have 2 Bonnies. Yeah, I've got a bunch of that stocked up. I'm a big fan of the just add water stuff. It's light, doesn't take up a ton of room. Carry it with you. You bet, CJ. I'm a big fan of the protein stuff, protein powders, because people that think they're going to go lug a bunch of cans down the road, they're crazy as hell. If you have a bug out location or a secondary location, you need to have cans already there. I'll tell you something else, you never know where you're going to be when something hits, right? So if you are lucky enough to have a secondary location, you need to have it prepared. So you may be 3 hours away, something goes down, you may not be able to go home and get your stuff. You may have to go right to that location from wherever you're at. So you're not just always going to be at home. You're not always going to be at home when something goes down. It's not going to be a sterilized thing like that, in my opinion, most of the time. Yeah. You got to have a break glass plan. Sure. I'll show y'all one more book that I've always raved about. And I know that we talk about walking in faith and not fear, and that's true. But this book is a wake up call for a lot of people. And some of you may have heard me talk about it before. If you have, sorry, I don't mean to bore you, but I'm really going to tell you that the importance of this book is really huge, and it's good for men, women, teenagers, as long as they can process it. But this book right here will make you rethink your whole situation when it comes to security and risk assessment, risk management, situational awareness. The Gift of Fear. Gavin DeBecker, the author, is one of the premier, or he is one of the original owners of, or an owner of one of the original full-time bodyguard services. He was, one of the first full-service bodyguard companies or personal protection companies for Oprah, big wigs like that, VIPs, people that didn't have to ask how much. But I would really encourage people to go get this book. You can get it on Barnes and Noble, Amazon. The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. And it will change the way you think about society. I can promise you. It's good for everybody. Gavin DeBecker. It's going to scare the hell out of some of you, but that's kind of the point. But not to make you fearful, but to empower you and enable you to think differently about society. And I can't tell you how many people have gotten this book after I mentioned it to them and told me that they just loved it. So I would implore people to get their hands on this book. I used to do a little bit of that stuff too, but my age and got some high miles on me now, so can't do that stuff anymore. Anyway, exactly off the wall, exactly. And your instincts are telling you this dude ain't right, something's not groovy here, this ain't jiving. You need to be able to make moves. But anyway, Yeah, I would appreciate everybody hitting the thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. I think most of y'all have. I do appreciate the follows and the interaction. Probably going to cut it off here in a few minutes. Let everybody get on with their afternoon and evening. But I just wanted to throw out that Glenn Beck um, video from today and really encourage people to go watch it again. And hey, Lisa, I'm sorry you're a little late to the game, but we're about to cut it off here. But talk to you later off the wall. But thanks for showing up anyway, Lisa. But I just ran that link there in the chat, so please go watch Glenn Beck's video from today and watch it in its entirety. I think even though you're a solid prepper, you might rethink, sort of give you a little wake up call if you didn't have it before. It certainly did me. So anyway, again, I wish everybody a good weekend coming up, and don't let your foot off the gas, people. Be prepared to make moves because you don't know when it's going to go down. We don't get to pick the time and place of our incident. It's going to pick us. You bet, CJ. Glad to do it. All right, Buzz, we'll see you. Hey, again, thanks everybody for showing up. I know it was short notice, but it was fun talking to all y'all and seeing what your opinions were on the subjects that I was talking about. So we'll talk to you later. Until then, keep prepping, stack it deep, and always remember, long live the Republic.